So great meet, but we're going to have another great meet tomorrow in Liévin. And I guess the storyline here is the times are going to be really fast. They've been fast in this meet the last few years, but I'm most excited by this 3000 because Grant Fisher, he's flying. He didn't run Milrose. He flew over to France to run this race, and he's going up against some of the best in the world. Jacob Kropp, the silver medalist at Worlds last year. Thierry Ndikamoenayo, who ran 725 to win Monaco last year. Mohamed Katir, the bronze medalist in the 1500. Lamecha Girma, the runner-up in the steeple and the World Indoor 3K last year. This field is very fast. They're going out and trying to run 724 or faster. That's the world record by Daniel Komen, which has stood for more than 20 years. And Fisher, I don't think it's crazy. We said on this podcast last week, it's not crazy to think he could be in this mix. He's beaten most of these guys in the past. He's supposed to be, I talked to his agent, Tom Ratcliffe, at BU a couple days ago. He didn't go out and say, oh yeah, he's in world record shape, but he said he's fit. He's ready to go. So this is going to be a big test against some of the best guys in the world. I can't wait to see it.
Last night I got on the internet to write an article to let people know about this race. I think it's at 4:10 p.m. tomorrow on Wednesday. Because think about it this way. John, you're the one that's got the great memory, although you may not have been alive, or you were quite young when Let's Run was started. Let's Run's been around since 2000. Have we ever, in that time frame, had an American lining up in a distance race with a shot at a world record?
Well, we had one 2 days ago at Milrose, but
that's a middle distance race.
The closest I can think we came was when Evan Jager ran Weldon's favorite race, his 8 flat in Paris in 2015. He fell. The world record was 753. You would think if he didn't fall, he probably would have run 756 or 757. And then I'm starting to think, oh, could the world record be in play for Evan Jager? But he's still never broken 8 minutes and probably never will. So that's probably the closest I could think of. Nothing else is coming to mind.
Yeah, it couldn't come to me either. I think he's expecting, and no one was expecting Jager to get it. The winner of this race has a legitimate shot of breaking the record, and we can make our predictions, whether we think it's going to happen at all, whether Fisher's going to do it. But, it's not crazy to think that Fisher's 3 seconds better than Yerden Goose. He's 3.34 seconds faster than Goose. He's got the world record.
Yeah, he ran 728 last year outdoors and 1246. And if he's a little fitter than that, he's got the guys to run. Now, when he ran that 728, that was a 725 race. And it was just, he hung back, which proved to be the right decision to do. But in this race, I'm interested to see what he does. Does he hang back like he did at Monaco and say, okay, 723, 724, that's a little too fast. I'll just try to run as fast as possible. Or does he say, all right, I'm just going to follow these guys, Girma and Ndikamoenayo, whoever else is going after it. I'm just going to hang on and see what I can do.
I don't want him right on the rabbit. I mean, the paces we're hearing about are going to be crazy.
Yeah, the pacing lights are supposed to be 59 seconds per 400. I don't know if they're going to do 59.3, which is world record pace. But, the thing that worries me about this race is with Bowerman and stuff, those things are perfectly set up. We even saw it this year at BU. Like, they're generally starting a little bit slower and doing a negative split warming up. When Fisher ran his 12:50, was it 3 last year, John, indoors?
Yeah.
At 3K, he was only in 13:09 pace. Then he just slammed it home in 3:56. By the way, he has to run faster than 3:56, 1,600 meter pace the whole way to get the world record. That's how good this record is. So I just, when I was analyzing it last night, I think he's going to work his way through the field. I think he'll start in the back, try to, do a slight negative split. But I just think it's going to be, that's fast for him. I think he's more like 5:10. His best results have come in the 10. The 15's a little short for him. The 3K is more like the 1,500 to me than it is the the 10,000. So I think it's going to be a grind. But we saw Ritzenheim run through a 5K field. I think when he set his American record in the 5,000, I think Fisher, if he's going to get this record, he needs to try to do what Ritz did in that 5,000. Just do it in the 3,000. Just run your own race, come in and try to get it at the end. But do we know anything about the rabbiting? I was really hoping that, I know we have some boots on the ground in France trying to get the details. I'm really hoping this guy, Ismail Debjani of Belgium, is the rabbit. He's got great speed, 145, 333.
That's not what it says. The start list has Munir Akbash of France taking the first 1K in 2:29, then Philip Sasanek of the Czech Republic coming through 1500, and then Tom Elmer of Switzerland. It says his PB is only 8:04 for 3K, and he's supposed to go through 2K in 4:58. That might be a challenge for him. He's run 3:35 and 7:48 outdoors. So yeah, but that's
good. So they've updated the pacing then, John. It was 2:28 for the 1,000.
Yeah, that's a bit slower than world record pace actually. That's 7:26 pace. This is what the official website has on the start list.
Okay, because last night we heard from our boots on the ground that the pacing might be set at 59 seconds a lap, which is, I think, too quick. I think if you're Grant, you want to come through about 3:58. I mean, the pace probably be a little bit quicker than that. So, like the leaders, you hang back in the pack, you're 3:57, 3:58, and then you go from there. If the record is broken, you got to win the race to get it. This is what's great about this race. It's not just a record race. It's not just a race against the clock. It's a race. There's 3, 4 guys, 5 guys who could win this race. And they're going after the world record. That's what we want. That's what we saw at Millrose in that mile, right? So I think if you're... What did we see with Yard Negus at Millrose? They had the pace set very fast. They then had to lag because it was too fast, and he still kicked and almost got the record. I think if you're Grant, you obviously don't want the lagging. Try to go out at the back of that pace. You got to be... I mean, if you come through at 4 minutes, there's no way you're breaking the record, I don't think. I think that's too much ground to make up. You think you make up 6 seconds the second 1,400 meters? I mean, you kick big the last 400, you can make up a decent amount. But I think 3:58, 3:59 maybe. I think you want to be under 4.
But I'm not sure Grant Fisher is even thinking about this world record. I bet he's just thinking, how do I run fast? And more importantly, how do I win? And I think, like you said, well, about 3:58 coming through. Hopefully you're feeling pretty good. At that point, you try to work up the field and just race guys. Don't worry about the time if you're Grant Fisher. That would be my advice.
Yeah, I don't think he's thinking about the record. But with the pacing lights, they have the lights in Liévin. And even if the rabbit goes out sore, they then can rig the light at the record to help you out. So if the rabbits drop off and they want to get the record, these guys are showed last year they were on top of this shit. You then can adjust the lights and have them like ramp up for the record so you have something to chase the last bit. I think that's the way to do it. It's going to be exciting.
Have we even mentioned who else is in this race?
Yes.
You did at the beginning?
Yes.
So at the end of my article, and I meant to put a poll up, I'll add it to the preview article. I was trying to analyze like who's most likely to win this race and break the record. And I ranked them in the following order. Mohamed Katir, who is the Spanish record holder at 15, 3, and 5. Put him number 1. I put Lamecha Girma, steeplechase silver medalist the last 3 times at the Global Championships. Number 2, he's run 7:27 indoors. I put Fisher 3. I put Fisher ahead of Jacob Krop of Kenya, who was, the world's fastest man in the 5,000 last year, ran 12:45. Because I was looking at Krop, he didn't have a great indoor season last year. This may be a little bit short for him. And then the crazy thing is, though, this is how good this field is. The Diamond League record holder, Thierry Indukanawa of Burundi, who ran 7:25 in that Fisher race. I put him 5th because he only ran 3:42 in a 1,500 a few weeks ago in a 3:40 race. So loaded field, so excited. But I started this preview because this is what I heard. I heard the lights were going to be on it. We've got to get this up. And then I said, who else is in this race? This race is this meet is, it's not even, I mean, It's so much better than Milrose. It's wild. You've got Marcel Jacobs, Mondo Duplantis, Karsten Warholm, Femke Bol, Gudaf Tsegay. I mean, Ingebrigtsen set the world record in the 1500 in this race last year. He's going to try to do it again. Tsegay set the world record in the 1500 2 years ago here. Femke Bol, is it crazy to think she just became the first non-Eastern European woman to break 50 flat indoors? She ran 49.98 or 7 something last week. Could she break the world record, John?
What is the world record? It's 49.59. She just ran 49.96. That's still a big improvement. I probably not, but it's not inconceivable.
Yeah. Krachikova's record 49.59 has stood since 1982. Femke Bol just ran 49.96. She's 0.37 away from it. And this track is fast, right? Liévin's fast. We need to have
for distance races, it is.
But it is as fast as BU because I think that's worth half a second.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think some of these stars like Jacobs, Bol, Warholm, they're all going to win because there are only a couple people in the world who can compete with them, and they're not running this race. But I love that they're there, and the 3,000 is most exciting to me because that is actually going to be competitive. I would think there are a bunch of people who can win that race. Same with the women's 800. We're going to basically have a rerun of what we got in Turin, Poland last week. Keely Hodgkinson and Noelle Yarigo of Benin, who stunningly ran 158 at age 37. They're going to be in there. Mary Moraa, who did not run well last week, the world's bronze medalist, she's also in that field. So that women's 800 should be pretty good as well. And Gudaf Tsegay is in the 1500, and the pace there is going to be pretty quick as well. It's 2:04 through 800. Seems to me they're going after the world record, which Tsegay already owns at 353.09. Then you've also got Ferwani Hailu in there, who won in her 3K debut last week in Turin. So that should also be an interesting race.
Okay, a couple things about the pacing. I think I had a correction, John. I thought you said 2:28 for the 1,000. No, the pace in the 3K is 4:58 for 2K.
So yeah, it says 2:29 for 1,000. Sorry, did I say 2:28?
I don't know. I may have gotten it wrong, but I was like, oh, maybe 450 come through and like 3:58, 3:59. That's essentially 3:58 point, I think. I like it. They've backed off the pace. I think this is the way to do it. The more you think about it, John. So you come through in 4:58. You kick a 50, then you go 60, and then you have, another 200? So go 60 the next 600. So you can even slow down, and then you kick a 56 the last 400. You can still get the record. Right?
I think if you're going after the record, you probably should go through a little faster. But who knows? Like it says this is what the pace is, but they might be there might be an agent or the athlete talking to the meet director and saying, hey, I actually want the pace like that. I'm not going to take those paces as gospel.
But they've adjusted them, and kudos to the meets, right? Why doesn't every meet do this? They have the paces on the start list, and it's just helpful for the fans, helpful for the media. And the men's 1500, it's another world record attempt. The pace is 2:20. You can do math. That means 3:30 pace. So assuming Jakob kicks, this could be the first sub 3:30 in an indoor 1500. And that women's 1500, 2:04. God, that's pretty fast. That is, I think, 3:52 and change pace, which would be a world record. So this meet, you may have 3 distance world records, which would give credit, obviously, to the meet and the pacers, but also the shoes. And the pacer in the 15, Eric Swinski. So you're going to get what you ask for in that one. With a light and Swinski, oh my God. It doesn't get any better than that. With Swinski, you don't need the lights, but with him having the light, it'll be even better.
Right. How amazing is that? And the nice thing about the 1500 is like in the mile, I'd like to see him get at least 1,000. 1,500, it's not nearly as far of a race, so the rabbit doesn't go as far. It's not as big of a deal. But I think you're right, Walden. Exactly. Like get him to 2K and then let him race, and then the record could take care of itself in that 3K. So super pumped. I also don't think I mentioned Grant Holloway's in here. John seems concerned that it's not a race. To me, what got me was just the stars, the star level. There's really nothing in the last like 10 minutes of the meet. I'm assuming they think we're going to have world record pole vault going on with Mondo. Like I think they probably timed it up. And it's like, how do you make a meet popular?